Okay, hello and welcome everybody. This is Kathryn, the Big Vision Coach, and you are absolutely in the right place at the right time because this is the Commanding Wealth Circle that we hold every Tuesday at noon Central Time. And I'm so grateful that you're here, and that even if you're here by watching the video later, the little YouTube channel's starting to grow, and the Facebook group is growing. So if you're not here during the live event, thank you for joining us through the virtual event. And if you are watching the recording, in the description or in the chat part, I just want to point to that I'm going to be sharing some files, and you'll be seeing the slides here. And if you're on the email list, you're also going to be getting the files emailed directly to you. So I'm going to be sharing the slides today along with the recording. Okay. So this is time for you. We get together. I know you're so busy. There's so much going on every minute. If you're not doing it, you're thinking about it or recovering from it. And we're pouring out every day one way or another. And then somehow on top of this, when we want to make a change, it's like we've got this mechanism rolling in our life, and then we're trying to implement new ways of thoughts and beliefs and increase our awareness and expand our capacity to manifest. And sometimes we're having to let go of things. Sometimes things are deconstructing. But there isn't usually time that we get to have just simply for us get our cups filled and to be in a field of energetic support. And that's the idea here. Now, the original circles, and now things are changing for me. I am wanting to start doing live in-person circles and get those filled so that you can see what that experience is like. So if you wanted to create a circle in your world, then you would know what to do. Okay, I started these in my living room in Dallas, Texas. Oh my gosh, has it been 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, because I had an experience in a workshop and it was so powerful, and I was able to manifest so much faster. In fact, the little thing that I commanded for was fully manifested within a few months. And people told me, oh, well, that's too small. You're not asking for enough. But it was a huge change in my life. And so that's why I'm committed to keeping this going at whatever degree that I can, so that one, you have that place to receive some energy, fill up your cup, but also you're also in the field of people who are like-minded, and they don't want good just for themselves. The good that they receive is so that they can increase their ability to do more good and have a greater impact on the world. That's who you are. I know that about you, right? And so when we're doing this meditation, one piece that we do is we make sure we align heart to heart. And the mantra that we use, or the affirmation, is the master in me greets the master in you. And in this space, let there only be love between us. Just think about that for a minute. I know that you're hurting. I know that you have challenges. I know that there are situations that feel bigger than you. But the truth is, there is a part of you that is a master, that transcends time and space, that is eternal, and it has the answer. And we may also refer that to our greater capacity, your own greater capacity. And you could call that your higher self, your connection to God, the universe that you are, right? But let's just think about the master in me greets the master in you. When I said that, what did you feel rise up? What showed up? Very often when we are creating, when we're in relationships, when we're thinking about our future or remembering our past, we're doing it from our wounded self. Okay. We're doing it from our smaller, less powerful self. We're doing it from a part of ourselves that are frozen. And sometimes we try we try to cover it up, or we're ashamed of it, we're mad about it, right? We try to put this other persona on in front of it so that we hide it so well from others that it becomes invisible to us. But eventually that part has to be met. When we connect to and remember the master that we are, and I know who this message is for, when we remember that and that greater part, this becomes a new lens through how we see everything, our whole experience. And right now, we're in a space, coming back to why we're here, is so that not only we can see ourselves and the others that way, we can look at them, but we can feel and know ourselves being seen and known that way. I want you to think about that. It's one thing, hey, I want to see the good in people. What if that was expanded into, I can know and trust that people see and know the good in me? What would your experience be? What would you know? How would you act and move in the world? What would you be free to create if that was your lens as you looked out and you used it also to look within? That's what this time is for. I'm really excited about today's meeting. I want to just say hello to some folks that are on. Alvaro, hello. We've said hello to Christine and Emily, Fiorenza, Hannah, Leslie, Linda, Sandy, Susan, and Angel, and I've missed your name. Please forgive me. Linda said she immediately felt more peaceful when I said the master in me greets the master in you. I want to invite you, write this down because we might forget. This is already, if you go, wow, I had that experience when Kathryn did that. I want you to think about people in your family, hey, the people you're living with. There's a way you think you know them. What you know is through a lens called family and all the past experiences, right? And that can be very comfortable, but it can also be troubling. What if, as just a thought experiment, you said, when you were thinking about the people in your life, your customers, the coworkers, the people you're in relationship, but maybe you could even think about people in power that way, or you could think about when you see a homeless person. And if you just put your hand on your heart and you just did that affirmation, the master in me greets the master in you. And in this space, let there only be love between us. And it could just be that thought. I'm going to say the phrase again. The master in me greets the master in you. And in this space between us, let there only be love. You're immediately raising your vibration and you're giving yourself a new lens. And then you're going to be really surprised how people start meeting you. You may actually, if you start having that thought, it feels like a superpower. People are going to like noticing you. They might look at you and smile, right? Just notice what happens. We didn't do this particular affirmation, but I remember when my granddaughter Maddie was about 5 or 6, and we were coming home from shopping, and we were at a stoplight, and it's raining. It's kind of the end of the day. We're in the rush hour traffic, and Maddie looked over and said, "That lady's mean." I said, "What lady?" She said, "That lady over there, she's mean." "Well, how do you know she's mean?" I said, "I don't like her face," like that. And I went, "Well, honey, you don't know what her day has been like. You don't know what she's going home to. She could just be really tired. We don't know. But maybe when we look at her, instead of thinking, what a mean person, what if we sent light? We imagine just love and light just shining down on her. And my granddaughter didn't say anything else. The next thing she said was, she looked at me and smiled and waved. And so that getting that immediate feedback, Maddie, that became like her superpower. She wanted to test that idea out in the world and see what the reaction was. And her world immediately became extra friendly. Now, it didn't help that she was 6 years old with adorable blonde curls and big blue eyes and a beautiful smile. She could be a little challenging in her personality, but she did not meet a world that criticized her and thought she should behave better because she's a girl. She started meeting a world that was friendlier and more embracing. And that's my wish for you. So I hope that that's helpful. Was this helpful so far? We're just getting started, y'all. We are just getting started. Now, this is a group experience. And before I go any further, I want to do a check-in and see how everybody's doing. Hey, Stephanie. Let's see who else has come on. Yeah, I want to do a check-in. Thank you, Linda. Always good information shared. Yeah, that's going to be a fun experiment. Who has something like that that's manifested, or they just generally have good news? They want to share that, a question, or if you're needing help or support, do me a favor, raise your hand and unmute your phone, and we'll check in. If we're all good, I'll check back with you at the end because there may be questions. Okay. I'll get a little sip of water. We're coming into fall, so that's why I have a new picture of tea. And what else? Well, this is a language thing. Right now it's you're gonna spill the tea. So hey, Hannah, let me come on here and check in with you. Let me get the bigger. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
So did you have a question or a comment?
Just when you sent it you want us to check in with all of us, with other of us. So I'm just thinking that I like that 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 expression about the master in you breathes the master in me, and I see it shifting my relationship with my daughter, just thinking about it. And I want to say thanks for that.
Yeah. Daughters are difficult. I love my daughter and she's a dragon. And it's not always an easy relationship. If I cross the line or the boundary, she's sure to let me know. So, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, all right. And all right, mother, she'll call me that. And I had a period that I was kind of critical because I was worried. And when I'm worried, I do have an old pattern. I'm an older sister. Anger. I get a little angry, especially if I feel like someone's in danger. My fear response is fight. And I will mistakenly fight with the people I'm afraid for. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And so if I'm having that anger, I have to ask myself, what am I afraid of? Right? As Sarah Lovejoy, my teacher, I was feeling really critical and I was talking about this. And she said, you're not, I never hear you talk about the things she's doing right. Even though you might not agree with how she's doing it, she's really doing something amazing. And as Sarah laid out all these things, I was like, God, I just took all of that for granted. I didn't realize that it was such a mountain for her to get to where she is, and she hasn't given up yet. And immediately one felt really ashamed. I felt really bad. Right. And then but I was like, okay, thank you for the learning. And, our daughters heal us. They show us what patterns are up. Right. And so we project those onto people. So just spend that time. Hey, what is she doing right? What is working between us? What can I be grateful for?
Yeah. Thank
And
you for it. Yeah.
even be grateful for the stuff you don't like. In the Bible, it
Okay.
says, "Be ye grateful for all
Sure.
things."
Yes. All
Ah,
things.
even the
Mhm.
like, I don't understand this now.
Yeah.
I can know and trust that all things are working together for my good.
Yeah.
And your
Okay.
daughter's just trying to figure it out. You're just trying to figure it out, right? So connect to that master, and that love is going to start sharing the information with you. Okay. All right. I think I lost her. She immediately. Okay. So, Alvaro. Hello, my
Hey,
friend.
Kathryn. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing so. I have a request for support. My mother passed away last week, and I've been kind of experimenting on emotional roller coaster. Sometimes I find myself sad, sometimes angry, sometimes irritable, um, and it's not a very high roller coaster, but it's very variable. So I would like to be more steady. I had to do this dual easily.
Yeah.
And also she didn't approve what I do as a coach. She expected to me to be an employee, the right way
Yeah.
life. Um, and I'm feeling that I haven't been able to succeed in my businesses because of that, a kind of loyalty to her.
Yeah.
So I would like to give all the situation a turnaround and fix it. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Like healing this wall, but at the same time, uh, taking this as a new beginning
Yeah.
for me and my business.
Yeah. First off, I'm so sorry for your loss. I truly am. That was um losing my mom really rocked my world. And I was lucky enough to have a good relationship, but she didn't get my business either. She was kept saying, this management company's hiring. And I go, that's good. Are you looking for work? And she's like, no, you can't keep doing this, can you? And I go, well, I'm making 5 times what I made in my old job. I think I'll stick to this, right? So in your body, this is when you have your physical relationship, you literally have the cells of your mother in you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have your internal mother, and then now you're having this, you're trying to release and unwind all of this emotion, a lot of it that you held in check because you're a good son. A lot of it you didn't express or let go of because it was like, if I ever tell my mother what I really think, the world's going to explode, right? I'm going to lose that relationship and or whatever beliefs, right? You are not just processing the death of your mother, you're processing the death of that paradigm, and all those emotions that were held at a deep level are having to release very quickly. And it does feel like you're unstable, but the first step is to accept the up and down, the anger, and this feeling out of control. Okay. And that sounds counterintuitive, but stick with me. 2 things. One, I used to have a really bad back. My hip was out, and the physical therapist, when I walked, I would limp, and then eventually I would walk straighter. And she said, no, walk crooked on purpose, exaggerated. Like I said, no, I look like a monkey. I don't want to look.
yeah.
I want to be ladylike. I want to be graceful. I want to get a little boom, chicka boom when I walk. Right? No, exaggerate it. Go ahead and be in that. And within 3 walks back and forth, like just across the room, my hip rebalanced itself. You're trying to rebalance yourself. So you want to go into it. I will send you, I'll send it to everybody today, but it's the 4-part statement. We're going to do this right now. So right now you feel what, unbalanced? Or how would you describe your feeling? Like I want to get back in control and on track, right? So
No, more than wanting to control it, I want to flow with it.
okay, so
To
you're out of flow, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you're out of flow. We're just going to say that. Now, we're going to say this in English, but we're going to do this. But then I'm even going to make a statement for you. This 4-part statement, it completes the loop. Okay. And so right now you do feel out of control. You feel like you're trying to get started and then something's kind of like you think today's the day I can do this, but then a wall of emotion, the business of losing a parent, right? All the family. This is a 10 million decisions, right? And plus your entire universe is having to reorganize itself. That's a lot. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, pretty lot.
So I would say the word overwhelmed. Okay. So just repeat after me. If anybody's feeling overwhelmed, we're going to go, you can go right along and just follow along. And if you're where you can say it out loud, say it out loud.
Okay.
Nobody come after me, but listen to how this goes. So say, I am overwhelmed.
I am overwhelmed.
And I'm going to be overwhelmed.
And I'm going overwhelmed.
And I'm going to be overwhelmed. So we're projecting that in the future, right?
And I'm going to be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do everything in my power to stay overwhelmed.
And I'm going to do anything in my power to stay overwhelmed.
And just right now, think about all the ways you're overwhelmed, like the grief, the unresolved anger, your business, the thing about money. Now you got your family acting up, right? I'm going to do all this and more. I'm going to create this and recreate all this drama. I'm going to create this and recreate all this drama.
Should I say that?
Yep.
I'm going to create and recreate all this drama.
To keep me overwhelmed.
To keep me overwhelmed.
And I'm going to do all this and more.
And I want to do all this and more.
Until I no longer need to be overwhelmed.
Until I no longer need to be overwhelmed.
Breathe into that. Feels totally counter. You go, Kathryn, what the hell are you doing? We're supposed to affirm what we want. Well, the thing is, when you think about, like, I want to make a plan, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it next week, because I may need to plan for my overwhelm, right? There may be chaos pop up, right? I can't trust myself to be in the right frame of mind, right? You're acknowledging how you feel now, because there's a part of you that says, somebody listen to me. No one's listening to the fact that I'm hurting and I need help. And what we are doing and what we're trained to do in this toxic positivity is like, all's well, you're good, it's fine. You're going, listen, I'm not good. I'm not fine. It's too much. Help me.
Yeah.
And our whole life, every person on this call can relate to, no, you don't feel it. No, it doesn't matter. No one cares. We got to go do this next thing. Every person's had that, right? So we got how we feel, how we're projecting into the future, and then we have how we're creating it and recreating it. Because why? Because we're trying to work it out. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to figure this out, but we're unconsciously recreating, creating and recreating the chaos, the family dynamics, our belief systems, all of that in an attempt to heal it. That's the positive intention. We're just trying to work it out. And so is everybody else who's acting out. Okay. But this last piece, when we say, until I no longer need it, your brain goes, what I call a Scooby-Doo moment when it goes, "Dur? What? Do we need overwhelm? When will we not need it? What do I actually need instead?" So now tune in instead of overwhelm. Your brain's asking the question, it's going on the search. What do you actually need? Tune into your heart, tune into your body, and whatever word comes up, let me know.
Cry.
I'm sorry?
I need to cry.
Cry. Okay. And once you cry, what will you feel?
Released.
Yeah, released. And maybe relief, peace. Cry is
Peace.
yeah, peace.
Yeah, peace.
Okay. Beverly, I see you. I'll call on you next, okay? So, did you say free or at peace?
Peace.
I am at peace. Say that.
I am at peace.
And I'm going to feel at peace.
And I'm going to feel at peace.
Keep breathing through that. And I'm going to do everything in my power
And I'm doing everything in my power
to create an atmosphere
to create an atmosphere
of peace inside and out
of peace inside and out
until I absolutely know myself
I absolutely know myself
as one who is peaceful.
as one who is peaceful.
Breathe in. So right now, this is where we might do the one command, and you might go, well, to get peace, I used to have to shut up and be quiet and be a good boy, right? To get peace, I had to just let other people do what they wanted, and I would have to deal with the fallout, right? But that's not peace. There's your greater potential knows and understands what peace is. So your command, Alvaro, right now is, I don't know how I have a new experience of peace. I only know I'm peaceful now. I only know I am at peace now, and I am fulfilled. And we're just going to do that real quickly. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for letting us be with you
Thank
right
you,
now
Kathryn.
and do this work. I love you. Thank you so much. I want
Thank
to
you.
check in
Thank
with
you.
the group. Is this helpful? Have you had this experience? Is this resonating with you? Yeah. Getting a lot of love there. Okay. So right now, go ahead and just roll your eyes up. Just send your consciousness up, 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 break through the darkness into the light. You can say it mentally in Spanish. Okay, so I don't know how I came to feel so peaceful. I only know I am at peace now and I am fulfilled. Now let your eyes relax. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good. And right now, Alvaro and anybody else who wants to receive this, witness in your mind's eye a download of peace coming in. And what you're doing is you're above, you're looking down and you see yourself. And I want you to witness that peace coming down into you. Yeah, that Alvaro that is sitting in his desk. But maybe there's the Alvaro that was younger, that just wanted his mom to see him and cheer him on. That piece, just witness that downloading. Hey, let's move forward on your timeline. And there's you, Alvaro, who has a successful business because you're not having to spend so much energy defending yourself and having mental conversations with your mom, right? Or your imaginary family. And downloading into that future Alvaro who has a successful business. And he's achieving even a greater level of peace. Now feel yourself coming back into your body. Bring your attention to your heart. Remember to breathe. When that feels complete, open your eyes.
Much better.
Yeah. So do you think in the times that your anger and overwhelm and your sadness kind of feel stronger than you're comfortable with, do you think you could allow yourself to be at peace with that while you're processing that?
Yes, yes, I can let myself be peaceful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathryn.
That's the 4-part statement. Yeah. I'm going to have you just kind of move that energy through your body right now. Just everybody just kind of down your body, down into your legs. I'm just going to integrate that energy. I want to just see some of the comments. No, there's always that one person that heals everybody. So I want to check in. Like you left out, like, Linda and Angel and Emily left some comments. I want to check in. When you think about your situation now, after going through that, what do you know about your situation now that maybe you didn't know before? There we go. We can actually start feeling grateful for the experiences because we see how it helped us grow. Peace, peace, peace. Perfect timing. Yeah, we're never alone. Okay, I'm gonna get a little sip of water. Let me just take a moment and ground myself. Well, I think what's going to happen is, of course, I had this whole presentation. First, I thought, oh, we're going to do an open forum. We're just going to spend time. It's like, no, I want to go back over last week's because a lot of people missed that teaching. It's like, this is what's up. I should have trusted my first intuition. So Beverly, I'm going to go ahead and have you unmute. Hi, how are you doing?
I am hanging in there, but I will tell you that the work you just did with Alvaro was spot on. I I know I'm a magnificent creator, but I tell you, I need to work on what I'm creating. So,
Yeah.
and when I say work on what I'm creating, how you get that trajectory where you're going up, and it's like riding that elevator, and it feels so great. And then maybe you push the wrong button, so now you're on the wrong floor. Right?
Yeah.
So then when you get off and you start looking around, because that wasn't the floor you were looking for, you're like, this is not what I was looking for. This is it. And and that's what I feel like right now. I literally feel like I was on the elevator, now I'm not, and now I don't even know where I'm at. So and I can give you examples. And again, I realize I create my reality, and I don't know how I manage to see what I see. So I have 3 sons, 2 of which I love them to pieces, but I just call them failures to launch. They just rebound.
Yeah.
Then we just found out that my other son, who has launched, who now has a family, the home that they're renting is being sold, and they've got about, I think, the end of October to get out, and then they are expecting their new baby at the end of October. So needless to say, they're going to be this beautiful space that I'm in is my office. I'm going to clear this all out. I'm going to let them have that. I'm going to relocate my other office into my home. 3 or 4 months, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, until they can get out and do their thing. And now, and my husband, we just completed his last round of cancer treatments where he was at stage 4. Now we're at undetectable. And we were able to do that within 2 months.
Wow.
Listening to what they said, doing and doing some other things that we do, because we hear you, but we know there are other alternatives. So I said, oh, and I happen to be running for county council and running 2 businesses at,
Okay.
so
Okay.
so when you talk about overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
and then you talk about, I listen to Alvaro. I too lost my mother, who truly was my anchor, and like you, I lucked out and had a good one. And so when I look around, it's like, Beverly, how much drama do you need to create? I swear to God, I sit here and I look at them like, in my world, my little space, I'm good. But when my mind goes out and then I look out into the world, I'm like, what is this around me? I just don't
Yeah.
feel the support that I know I'm giving. I don't feel that it's reciprocated. I just kind of feel like they're just la 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 la. And I'm like, jeez, you need to get with it. Come on. And yes, I am an A personality. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, you're used to being the manifester and the driver for everybody too, right?
yes, and
So
that's not working.
apparently you suck at it because
I do.
you're stressed.
I am.
You're not in flow.
No.
They're not realizing, right? Because I'm sorry, you've inadvertently gotten in the way. And that doesn't mean you got to throw them under the bus or being supportive, but there is an internal position that you don't trust them. And at some
No.
communicating, like, well, of course you're not trustworthy. Look at these fools, right? Look at these people. But
Exactly. Exactly. I love you, but I'm like,
I'm sorry, there
ooh.
was an adult that said, who does that girl think she is? That girl wants too much. She goes too hard.
Yep.
She's too much. She's too big. And the backlash is swinging this other way. Oh, our A-type personality women are in the house. Now, I am speaking as an A-type personality, master of the universe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Retired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Retired.
Wow.
So right now, the master in me greets the master in you. Whatever in me created this fear in you, this is Ho'oponopono. I want you to just tune into this. Whatever in me created this fear in you to allow others to succeed and fail as they need to for their own good, because their failure could mean my failure. Whatever in me created that in you, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. Your kids are not going into the world that you and I went into. There was somebody that we could go have a conversation with and get something going. We didn't know who that was, but we could go down to a coffee shop, an office, a networking meeting, somebody's friend, right? We had that. There was a friend at church who knew this, right? They don't have that. They don't have affordable rent. They don't have this intrinsic support system. It's a new planet.
It is.
And there's been no rules, and they're just trying to find their way. So in the new planet, it is about cooperation and support. And it might be, hey, all of y'all. One, I feel like I got an intuitive hit on your son with the wife and the baby. They're not going to need to move in. That is a good backup plan that gives them comfort knowing that they won't be on the street. I feel like there's enough in your son and even her determination where she says, no, for me to take care of my baby, this is what I need. And it's not to be under somebody else's roof. She's too strong. Okay. I feel like they're going to manifest something. Is that true or not true?
I don't, at this point, at this stage, in this moment,
Yeah.
I don't think that's true only because of her previous patterning.
Yeah.
When I say her previous patterning, there are things that she says that I have no idea, no point of reference from which to
Different
speak.
planet. Well, she didn't. Does she have her mom?
Yes, and
She didn't. Have,
um,
yeah. She didn't have a good mom.
so for me, here's an example. So we were talking about, okay, what could be the plan B to this situation?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and I didn't even acknowledge it because I was like, okay, I hear it, but I am not gonna get there. She's an amazingly smart young woman. She was actually the youngest certified aquatic physical therapist in our state. So she's got it going on.
Yeah.
However, on this at the same time, there is a part of her that I am keenly aware who wants to just be this. And again, nothing against stay-at-home moms. People do what they do.
Yeah.
That's what she wants. And yet financially that's not in a
No, not
position to do
yet.
that. So here's what she said. She said, well, I can just quit work now and then go on Medicare and then they will pay for it. And I'm looking at her like, quit work? That should be the last thing on your mind is quitting work because you need insurance because we got a baby that's getting ready to go. It's just stuff. When she says stuff like that, I look at her and I say to my son, I have no point of reference. I've never been on assistance. I don't know how that works.
Well, I know, but at the same time, the master in you needs to greet the master in her. If she sees that there's a way to use the system to get her needs met, she'll use it. And she is just looking at options. Okay. You are not, you're judging that, right? So what would it be like if you trusted them? And you go, and your 4-part statement would be like this: I don't trust my kids, and I'm not going to trust my kids. I'm going to do everything in my power to keep from trusting them, and I'm going to keep creating and recreating the thoughts and the proof that they cannot be trusted until I no longer need to live in this distrust of my kids. Breathe into that. You did not do it the way anybody told you to do it. You didn't listen to anybody. Who the heck did you listen to? You didn't. You listened to your intuition and your guidance, right? So I don't know how to trust my kids.
I don't know how to trust my kids.
And yeah, that's it. So right now you want to create this field of trust. I choose to trust my kids.
I choose to trust my kids.
And I'm going to trust my kids.
And I'm going to trust my kids.
And I'm going to do everything in my power.
And I'm going to do everything in my power.
In your considerable power.
In my considerable power.
To cultivate an atmosphere.
To cultivate an atmosphere.
An environment.
An environment.
And a relationship.
And a relationship.
That grows trust.
That grows trust.
Not only between us.
Not only between us.
But for them, for themselves.
For them, for themselves.
That's right. And I'll do all this and more.
And I'll do all this and more.
Until I know how trustworthy I am.
Until I know how trustworthy I am.
And so here's the idea. I want you to expand that. What would it be like to be so trustworthy that it activated the trustworthiness, which is proof, right? In everyone around you.
That would be fabulous.
What if you go, listen, son, and I might even say, you know what, I'm here for you. I'm always going to be for you. I have always got your back because I'm your mother, I'm your family, and no child of mine is ever going to do without, or grandchild. Nobody under my watch is ever going to go hungry or be without, right? Because that's me. you always have that commitment, but I also want you to know how much trust I have in you, in your ability. I have 1,000% confidence. What do you need from me to feel supported in that? Because he can make it happen. He can. And
He's done it before. He's pulled $5,000 out of the air. So
He
he's
will.
done it before.
You'll have a friend that has an empty house materialize out of nowhere that they need someone to live in it. And it'll be a better house than your old office.
That would be
And
great.
what would it be like if you visualized that for them instead of how incapable they were? How do you think they would respond? What would be activated in them? And so I might do a little hope on it. I was like, whatever in me created this for you, I'm sorry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the failure to launch. But they, like I said, when I went out, I was able to go. I was only waiting tables, making about 150 a week, if that. But I found $150 a month apartment, all bills paid, furnished, and I didn't have to worry about anything. I made that in a week.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. So that doesn't exist now. It doesn't. So but there are things that exist for them that they have the ability. So we have to shift our lens. We got that lens, remember I talked about what we're looking at. We got to look in and we got to look through that to them so that can rise up, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feel the judgment, they feel the shame, and they probably feel a little pissed off about it. Like,
well, it's interesting. I do try to just, because anybody who knows me knows I can't hide anything. My face, you say something stupid, I'm gonna look at you like, so I'm not really good at that.
Yeah.
So, but I have been very careful to not be in that space when I'm discouraged with them.
Yeah.
I know when I have that moment and I can have a conversation, it'll be a good one because they
Yeah.
haven't been contentious.
Yeah.
Again, people sell houses all the time. So I know that's not it. It's just what my husband says to me is, you have to remember, Beverly, you can't use your litmus for everybody else.
Yeah.
Because they got to do their own thing.
That's it.
So,
and you you went against the grain, you forged a new trail, right? Yours was like, I feel like, your strength came from your spite. Like, oh yeah, tell me what I can't do. Right? Is that you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's totally me. That's totally me. Yeah.
Well,
you want to get it done, tell me I can't do it. That's exactly right.
Well, that's
exactly
right. Run. You know what? That is at the emotional base. It's like, I've been telling you what you can't do, but I know you're going to show me what you can do. When you do, I'm going to be cheering you on. And you got to kind of like speak like that. My granddaughter is 19, still struggling, and she was having a really bad day because her dad got on her. And finally, she's like, I don't know what to do. And I said, you haven't asked for help from anybody. And I said, please let me help you. And she says, okay. And I said, what help do you need? She said, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, great. You don't know. I know. You want to talk about it? When you're ready to talk about it, let's talk about it. She said, can we now? Yeah, let's go talk about it. And so I had to ask permission to help. And that really was the missing piece. And then find out what she didn't know rather than being a, all-knowing boomer that I am. But yeah, we're all learning. Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Well, peace to you and your house, my love. I'm glad to hear about your husband. And I just absolutely know that you're going to be coming back next week and you're going to be telling us about the miracle that your son-in-law manifested, or your son manifested. Okay. Because he's very powerful. He could be a wizard. Like, if he really could. He's very powerful. But he's not in it yet. He's still trying to grow, improve himself, and learn. But he's very powerful. Mentally, energetically, big old heart. You got a good one there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, honey. Thank you. All right. I want to check in. Is this helping? Is this making a difference? Beverly, Linda said that I feel the difference in your words and yourself, Beverly. I can feel the release. Everyone's feeling that energy. Beautiful. Ooh. So I want to tune in. We'll talk about this next week. I want to go back over like creating the vignettes and like last week we did commanding your intention. Let me come back to sharing the screen here. Next week, we will do part 2 of commanding your intention. We started on this, and it really has to do with how do we get that breath right? How do we really get clarity on what it is that we want? How can we recognize what's stopping us? How do we meet what's opposing us? And that's why the one command is so good, because we can rise up and we, quiet the neurology, we expand into a greater state of being. What we did today with the 4-part statement is we completed a cycle. Okay, we completed a cycle. And think about it like this. If you ever get a song stuck in your head, the way to get rid of the song is to sing the last verse. You have to complete the cycle. Okay. And so if you're noticing that you're worried, like the bills are due, the bills are due, the bills are due. Well, you don't, we go, oh, I want the bills paid. Well, what do you actually want? Like when I asked Alvaro, he wanted the peace. He wanted the calming, right? Like it's taken care of. If the bills are taken care of, then you're taken care of. Okay. So you might say, if we're doing the 4-part statement, the bills are unpaid. Or there's too many bills. We got that one. The bills are too high. Like we can say that about our groceries right now, right? I live in Texas, and they can do whatever they want, and they're adding these like $150 delivery fees if you aren't connected directly to Encore. So your bill, which is already too high, can get an additional fee just to be hooked up to Encore's pole, because there's no regulation on that. I don't know about you, most people getting hit with an extra 150 on top of a very high bill, that's causing a lot of people to have a lot of worry and stress, right? So if you're worried, you're worried, you're worried. Like we dealt with some really big things, but we got some ordinary things. How can we use the one command? So we want the bills paid, right? The bills aren't paid, the bills aren't paid, the bills aren't paid. And we had this fear of the consequence. Well, if the bills aren't paid, what could happen? The power get cut off. I'll lose the house. I won't have my phone. We won't have water. The credit card companies, my credit score. And then it just snowballs from there, right? So we get afraid, and that creates a lot of anxiety, and that actually blocks our capacity to create. Okay. So by using this 4-part statement, we're going to complete the cycle, and then we're going to do a command. All right. So if the bills aren't paid, the bills aren't paid, the bills aren't paid, tune into the feeling or whatever it is. And we're going to use that as an example. Okay. My bills aren't paid. My bills aren't paid. Or the bills are due. The bills are due. The bills are due. Right. The bills are due. The bills are due. The bills are due. Get that feeling. The bills are due. The bills are due. The bills are due. Think about how your experience that is in your head, is in your throat. Is it a cloud? Is it your whole body? And then you think about that maybe you're struggling to pay your bills, or you might struggle. So the 4-part statement is, I'm struggling to pay my bills. And I'm going to struggle to pay my bills. And I'm going to do everything in my power to keep struggling to pay my bills. Who already is feeling sick? Like, ugh, I don't want that. No. And I'm going to do all this and more until I no longer need to struggle with my bills. Take a breath. Just breathe in. Your brain's already going, struggle? Do I want to struggle? Do we need to struggle? Somehow we have this idea that life's hard and we have to struggle. So instead of the feeling of the struggle, what would it be like to be confident? I reminded my daughter this morning. She's been really worried. And I said, do you remember that Christmas you told me and you were so proud that you had managed things so well and you were so far ahead that when the Christmas charges all came through, you just sat down and you paid not only those bills in full, you paid that whole credit card off in full, and you still had more savings than you normally have. Do you remember how that felt? And she's like, oh my God. Yes. I said, how did you feel? I felt really proud of myself for handling them. And I said, let's go into that feeling. And she went, that's what I want to create. And when she shifted and I had to check back on this worry about her bills, because she quit one of her jobs, one of her many jobs, she said, I don't feel as worried. I'm going to be okay. So I want you to think about, instead of this feeling of struggle, worry, when it comes to your bills, when you're thinking about your expenses, let's reframe that already, the expenses, in order for you to be happy and to be you, you have your level. Tune in. What do you need instead of this feeling of struggle? Some people I hear confidence, I hear trust. What would it be like if you were got really excited about paying your bills? What about if you go, you know what? I'm good. This is cost of doing business. This is the cost of doing me. And I take really good care of myself. So yeah, when we think about our finances, let's think about confidence. Okay, we're just going to use that word. When I think about my expenses, I feel confident. So I am financially confident. There we go. And I'm going to be financially confident. I will do everything in my power to create an atmosphere that cultivates confidence. Like that, where it's cultivating, it's growing, get to see it, we're witnessing it, we're doing things. I'm cultivating this atmosphere of confidence. And I'm going to do all this and more until I absolutely know myself as one who is financially confident. Breathe into that. It doesn't even sound like the right words, but it could be just the words that are a little foreign to you. Breathe into that. So now we're going to do a command for it. Close your eyes, roll your eyes up. Just picture, visualize, or imagine that you are traveling up that pole of light. The higher you go, the faster you go. And soon you find yourself in that beautiful, velvety black void of space. Break through the darkness into the light of pure, open potential. Here's your command. I don't know how I came to feel so financially confident. I only know I am more than financially confident now, and I am fulfilled. Just let that go. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good in its fulfillment. Roll your eyes back up. Now, there is a certain amount of money that when you see that money and you feel it, you will absolutely know that you will never have to worry again. It could be an extra 100, it could be an extra 1,000, it could be an extra 100,000 in your bank account, but you don't know what that moment is. So let's command the moment. I don't know how. I absolutely know that every cell and fiber of my being and at all levels of my experience, that I never have to worry or struggle in my finances again. I only know it so now, and I am fulfilled. Now just let your eyes relax. Now let that expand out. Now in this state of being, right now you're just witnessing, observing, witness the energy, that confidence, but maybe there's some new skills, some new attitudes, there's something your higher self knows. Witness that being downloaded directly into you. Witness there's a small part of you, maybe that was in your past, maybe you saw your parents struggle, maybe you have worried so many times you think that that's how you get things done, by worrying until you can't think another thought and you just let go. But just witness that energy coming into every part of you that's fearful, that's worried, that doubts, maybe even resents having to worry about money or think about money. Just let that new idea of this financial confidence, this knowing, like, yes, I never have to worry again. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. And now there's you in the future telling the story to a good friend or a family member that, you know, I used to really worry and struggle about my bills and my finances and how I was going to make money and how I was going to get everything covered and how I was going to take care of everyone. Until I realized I'm more powerful than I remember, until I'm more powerful than I know. And I allowed that knowing to come alive in me. And I accepted that. And so now I never worry about money again. And maybe there's someone saying, tell me more about that. What did you do? What did you realize? And you're sharing it with them. And now that future master in you has support for you. So the future master, that is you, is now greeting the master that you already are. And in this space, let there only be love between you. And now in this space, feel yourself coming into your heart and being in this field of gratitude as you're receiving everything you need to know and trust and have faith that you have the ability to create by your command. You never have to worry ever again. And as this greater state of being begins to arrive, we're just going to let that old worry, fear, doubt, we're just going to let that unwind. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. As this greater state of being begins to arrive, just let it start to rewind and integrate. And you might go ahead and touch your face, rub down your arms, just feel that energy moving through your body. Oh. And then do a quick little internal check. You think about struggling with money. What do you know now that maybe you didn't know before? And as always, you always want to keep a journal, keep track, pay attention to your manifestations. And then you're going to get an idea. You're going to take action. There'll be somebody to call. Words will pop out of your mouth. You'll get an idea to go, you get a feeling to go left instead of right today. You'll do something that's out of the norm. And just act as if it's done. And your intuition is going to guide you. Okay. Whew. Was this helpful today? Oh my goodness. My goodness. Oh, thank you. Yep. We went deep. I really love when we get to connect into one another and witness each other's support. Okay. All righty. Well, I think we did go a little over. I apologize if you need to go ahead and go. I understand. Just on your calendar, be sure and make a note that we are not having a circle on the 24th of September. We're not doing one this month. I am taking that week off. I finally get to have my surgery, so that I've been talking about and commanding for. But if it turns out you feel like you need to get some extra support, if this has brought up some things for you and you would like to find out about working together, let's book a call, time to talk about your situation and how I might be help to you. I do work with people one-on-one, and I am writing a new group, but that won't probably be until October. So if you feel like you need some extra support, let's set up a time to talk, and then we'll talk about what your situation is and what it might look like to work together. It feels like you're a good fit. Fair enough? All right. Okay, my love. I love you. I witness your mastery. And until next time, this is Kathryn Perry. I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you.